everyone, welcome to Watercolor Wednesday. I am Bonnie Krebs, creator of Watercolor, the Art Impressions Way, and we are continuing to work our way through the new release. So this is another one. This set is new from January of 2019. So I'm going to show you how to put this little Pixie together on his little mushroom. Okay, so we're going to need this set, the Watercolor Elves Set, and then the new foliage set. So the two accent grasses. And then in foliage set 3, these little grass clumps right here. Okay, and that is all we need to create this little painting. So we're going to start out with, actually, no, we're not going to start out with that. We're going to start out with the little Pixie. And he's really, really tiny. And so we want to start out with a light color on him because we don't want to get too much color around his face. And so this is a great color to start with. This is number 992. Of Tombows, and I'm just going to stamp him up here into a little more to the top of my paper. And now I'm going to cover him up. So I'm going to place a mask over him, and this is just Post-it tape, which I love because, especially for these small things, because it's sticky all the way around. So I just stamped it on my Post-it tape, cut it out, and now I've covered him up. So now we're going to stamp the little mushroom, and we're going to do this just in one color, so just the brown. And the reason we're doing that is because we're going to color the top red. So it's a little easier to get that color combination if we use the brown only. And this brown has a little bit of a red tint to it, so that's going to help even more. Okay, so I'm going to use my positioner because I am going to position this right underneath him. So I'm going to stamp this now into the corner and place it right about there. That looks good. So he's just sitting at the very, very top of this little mushroom. Just huff on it and then stamp it onto your page. So now I can remove this little guy, take him off, and now we've got him sitting on his mushroom. Okay, so let's go on from here. Let's start with this little guy. So I'm going to use my number 1 brush, especially when it comes to details like this, because we don't want too much color coming out of those lines. And even these down here, these are very, very tiny lines. And I don't know if you can even see on camera, but I'm barely taking any color out of these lines. So now I'm going to add some color to my palette, and this is a flesh tone. So this is number 850. This is also very light, so I hope you can see this, and just a hint of red. And I'm going to just brush this on his little face. And again, I'm using my number 1 brush. When it comes to details like this, it just works great. So I'm brushing on that skin tone now onto his arms, and then just a tiny, tiny bit of this pink for his cheek. Okay, so let's go on from here. And I'm going to add some more red now to my palette and some light brown. This is number 947, and then my original brown, number 969. And I'm going to add some color now to him. And I'm going to start with the original brown, and I'm just going to brush on, and I'm using my number 1 again. Just going to brush this color on. It's always better to just keep it light. Make sure the tops of his shoulders, we see a highlight on there. And he's kind of leaning to the left, and that's why I started over on this side, so that we see it lighter over here. And now I'm going to go on to my other color and just get his little pants. And I think this would be so cute at Christmas time as well. Like right now I'm kind of creating a little woodland Pixie, but how cute would this guy be for Christmas? I mean, maybe not on a mushroom, but maybe on a little Christmas tree or a little Christmas plant in a pot. Be so cute. Okay, so I've got that done. I'm going to add some red now to his little hat. And again, I want to leave that highlight at the top. And just brushing this color in. So I want to make sure this is pretty red, so I'm just going to go over it one more time. Make sure I get that dark enough. And then I'm going to just make his hair. He's got a little bit of hair right here and down here. And then just to take a fine tip, a really fine tip. Now this is just a very fine tip black pen. This is a 0.03, and that's really about what it takes to just put this little eye back in, and mostly just the little eyelash. So just put that in like that. Don't worry too much about it. And I'm just going to darken the inside of his little ear. Just going a little bit darker underneath, just to outline his little shirt. Okay, that looks good. So let's go on now to the mushroom. We're going to switch brushes now. I'm going to go back to my 4, and I'm going to pull this color out now. And just kind of drag this color out of the lines. Down under here, and then down here. So I'm going to take a pencil now and just draw some circles on here. So I want some little polka dots on this little mushroom, and that's totally up to you if you want to do this or not. You don't have to, but it's kind of fun to put those little round circles on there. And I'm going to now add my red into the top. So I'm going to take that same red and just brush this in. And just take your time. This is the fun part. These little things always turn out so cute. And the more that you do them, of course, the better at it you're going to get. Trust me. Working my way around here, around my little dots. And you can see they're not perfectly round circles. I never worry too much about that. And that looks a little light, so I'm going to come back in here again and just do another coat. The more, the more passes you make, the darker it's going to get, so keep that in mind. Let it dry completely and then go back over it with your color. And we may just come back over this one more time at the end. We'll see how that dries. So let's go on now to the stem, and I'm going to add a little more color in here. So this is a yellow 993, and then I'm going to add some more of this light brown. So this is 947. So the two of those together. And I'm going to start out with the light, and just because I have a large area to color here, it's always better to add more colors. So, when you have a large area like this little stem, if you color it all the same, it tends to look flat, even if you leave highlights. So it's always nice to add just a few more colors in here. And now I'm going to take some of this and just kind of mix this in here a little bit. And I'm still leaving those highlights. So I'm not coloring everything in solid. And this actually is a little ridge here. So I'm just kind of going over these lines. And you know, it's going to be darker on the sides, so let's make sure that we do that. And you can see my brush is really pretty dry. I'm going to go darker under here. And then just kind of blend that out a little bit. Okay, that looks good. So let's add some sky in the background now. I'm going to use the number 528. It's kind of a warm sky. I love this color. And I always use it when I'm doing a whimsical little painting, especially just because I feel like it just kind of creates that look. Be careful not to touch any of the red, for sure. Don't touch any of the red. And don't touch any of this little guy. And just brushing a little more on here. So cute. So fun. And then let's just put a little bit down under here. And I'm putting a little of this color in here just to kind of mirror that sky a little bit. And let's go on now to the grasses. So we're going to use the larger ones first. And I'm just going to use a light green. So this is number 228. And you know, you don't have to use the whole thing. So I do this a lot just because I don't want the grass to look all the same. I just ink parts of it. And the reason I use the tall grass here with this is because it makes it look like it's tall. It makes it look like it's small. So the mushroom and the little guy are small compared to the grass. I hope that makes sense. And let's put a little of this color onto the palette. And I'm just going to drag some of this color out. Leave those little feathery grasses in the background. So don't add water to everything. Okay, and then let's put our little accent pieces in. And let's just use a different color here. So this is a little darker color. This is number 177. And we're just going to stamp these over the top. So just those accent pieces. And we are finished with this little guy. Let's just put a little more red in here. So we aren't quite finished with this little guy. I'm just going to add another little wash of red here because I really want this to be dark, including his little hat. Okay, that looks better to me. Love that dark red. And I think I will just do one more step And that is to add a little bit of this blue just right underneath this white. And what it's going to do is just kind of pop these little white dots out. Make them a little more three-dimensional. Just the bottom. Okay, one thing left to do, and that is to sign and date. And put that on a card or put it in a frame, give it away. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it so much. Please give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and I will see you all next week.